How to find the right property to buy in 5 simple steps. Hey there, and welcome back to HippoFriend, your favorite channel dedicated to helping you find the right property and get the right mortgage. My name is Luca, I'm a mortgage expert, and today we're going to talk about the 5 steps you need to undertake to identify the right property to buy in Germany. So let's get started. Step number 1, define your needs and budget. Before you go ahead and find the property you like, you need to know how much you can actually afford. Your maximum affordability depends on your residency, your savings, your income, and a number of other variables. Now, just because you now know how much you can afford doesn't mean that you have to push for your maximum affordability. The maximum price is not always the best price. Sometimes buying a cheaper property can make sense. And to figure out what the right budget for you is, you have to tailor that budget to your plans. Whether you're buying an investment property, an own-use property, a multi-family house that you plan to rent out and live in. For example, if you're buying an investment property, you might want to know where the property price per square meter is lower relative to the rental prices so that it's easier for you to break even, maybe even have a positive cash flow. Whereas if you're buying a property for own use, you might want to figure out what monthly budget you're comfortable with, how you can adjust that monthly budget to make sure that you're able to reinvest into alternatives. There's a lot of things to take into account. So it's very important that you do your research. Now that brings us to step number 2. Do your research. During this phase, the internet is going to be your best friend. Keep in mind, you want to tailor your research to the plans you have. For example, if you're buying an own-use property, you want to ask yourself, well, what area do I like the most? What kind of a square meterage would suit me the most? Do I want to buy a property similar to the one that I'm renting or something more expensive? How will that impact my monthly budget on a month-to-month basis? All of these things are very important. If you're buying an investment property, for example, you're going to want to understand other demographics like population growth, rental prices, how much do they increase per year, what the price per square meter is relative to the rental prices to make sure that you can break even, what kind of a down payment should you put to reduce the monthly rate to a point where your monthly rate is proportionate to the rental income that you're getting. From there, you're going to want to make sure that you're using the right platform. There's a lot of them out there. You have your eBay, Makler, Immowelt, ImmoScout, all the Immos. So which one do you use? Well, the reality is that ImmoScout's probably the biggest one out there, but it doesn't encapsulate the whole market. So what we've done is build a property radar that aggregates listings from all these different websites, puts them all in one source, and that way you save time because you don't have to be on 10 different pages. You can just do it all from our website. This leads me to point number 3. Once you've shortlisted the properties you're interested in, that's when it's time to start visiting and inspecting. At this point, you're going to want to reach out to the real estate agent directly using the property platform you found the property on originally. So if you used our HippoFriend property radar, make sure you check the link to the original source. And from there, you can reach out to the real estate agent directly so that you can come and actually visit the property. Now at that point, you're going to start your inspection. It's not only important to make sure the lighting is good and that the property is big enough for you and your family and that the floor plan is up to your standard. It's also important to make sure that the structure itself and the property itself doesn't need more modernization. At this point, you're going to want to not only check the condition of the property, but also ask the real estate agent to provide you with the relevant paperwork. For instance, ask them for an energy certificate so you know what the energy costs are going to be. Also, keep in mind that hidden costs may be a little bit more technical than you think. For instance, if the energy rating is F, G, or H, then by law, by 2030, you're going to have to upgrade that standard, which is an expensive cost and a huge undertaking. So checking the condition of the property and asking for the relevant paperwork is imperative to making sure that the property you find is right. Checking the condition of the property isn't only important for you, but it's important for the bank as well. See, the bank uses the property as security on the mortgage, as collateral. So if the value of the property in the eyes of the bank isn't good enough, then getting the mortgage is not really going to be so easy. For that reason, once you've found a property you like, your next step is going to be to start exploring your financial possibilities. This part is a little bit difficult. Well, it's actually quite difficult because you need to know what kind of a mortgage is suitable for you. You have to understand what kind of a down payment is going to work best for you, what fixed interest period, what monthly rate based on your alternative investments. There's really a lot to take into consideration. For all these reasons, it's important that you get the right advice and speak to an expert. A mortgage advisor is not only going to help you understand what information you need to know about the property, but also he's going to give you the tools and the information that you need to make an educated decision on every component of the mortgage so that you can together create the right offer. And once you have the right offer, find out which bank can give you that offer with the best conditions. Now, at that point, the mortgage advisor is going to pre-approve your eligibility to give you a financing certificate. This document plays a key role in reserving the property. because without it, your chances of reserving the property decrease by 60%. Keep in mind, you're not the only person who wants that property. That's why you have to be quick. Now, I know that this is step number 4, but typically I recommend my own clients to reach out to me for advice and for the financial consultation when they're visiting the property, because that way they can be one step ahead of anybody else who is interested. So if you're in the process of visiting properties today and you want to get a financing certificate or a better understanding of your eligibility and your financing options, you can feel free to check below and book an expert appointment. Step number 5, reserving the property. All right, so you found the property you like, you visited it, you've gotten a financing certificate, and now you're excited to make an offer and finally reserve it. Once you reserve the property, it's going to get off the market for about 4 weeks, which gives you enough time to sort out your financing. Now, keep in mind that there's a little bit more to be done here. If you're watching this in 2023, then it's a buyer's market. Prices are down about 10 to 15% in Germany as a whole, so you can negotiate the price quite aggressively. But if you don't do your research, then you might end up underbidding and, well, losing the property of your dreams, or you might end up overbidding and missing out on a good deal. So what do? At this point, you have property evaluation tools. We have one on our website actually, which is free, but our mortgage experts also have one, and it's a more sophisticated version, which gives you a better approximation of the valuation so that you have a reference point that you could use to have leverage and negotiate the price down. Now, once you've negotiated the price down and the seller accepts your offer, then they're going to go to the notary and finalize a reservation agreement. Usually, you have to pay a reservation fee, which can be a percentage or it can be a fixed fee. Now, don't be afraid, this reservation fee is refundable, meaning once you actually buy the property at the very end, that's when the fee is going to either be deducted from the price or just given back to you in cash. Of course, if you move ahead with the reservation and then you decide not to buy the property at all, a lot of the times you end up losing that reservation fee altogether. So make sure that at this point you've made up your mind. And there you have it. 5 simple steps to find the right property to buy in Germany. If you found this video helpful, leave a like, subscribe. If you have any questions, make a comment below. Either I or one of our teammates are going to get back to you and answer your questions. I guess I'll see you next time.